good morning, friends. Today we will be starting with climate change. Okay, so before we get into the current affairs aspect, in the first half an hour, we will try to understand the meaning of climate change, what causes climate change, and all. Okay, so first, what do we mean by the term climate? Before we go into climate change, what do we mean by the term climate? So climate is basically long-term pattern of weather. Weather is something that changes seasonally, but long-term pattern, देखोगे over the last 30 years, 40 years, what has been the pattern of weather? That is climate. For example, average temperature of Earth is 15 degrees Celsius. That's a long-term pattern, average temperature. Now, in ice age, this temperature may have been much lower. So today's climatic conditions are that. Today's climatic conditions would be something like कि equator के पास there's a lot of heat. So climate is this long-term pattern. Now, when we talk about climate change, when we are changing the climate, what are we referring to? We are referring to change in this long-term pattern. For example, let's say currently the average temperature of Earth is 15 degrees Celsius. But if it changes to, let's say, either 10 degrees Celsius or let's say it increases to 18 degrees Celsius, what would be happening? Change. This will be an example of climate change. So this is one way in which you can understand what climate is. Climate is this long-term pattern, which over the last 30, 40 years, we have seen, if we see that Earth's average temperature is this. But if this starts changing, like presently because of global warming, it is tending towards increase. Then this is climate change. Or because of some other factor, suppose it had started decreasing. This would also have been climate change. First, understand the meaning of climate change clearly. Given everyone is using the term climate change, what are they actually referring to? Fine, climate change is understood. Now, let's go to what is changing climate today. So today, when we are talking about climate change, we are saying that temperatures are increasing, right? Of this side. So what is causing that climate change? It is being caused by something called global warming. That is, globally, temperatures are rising. And global warming is being caused by what is known as greenhouse effect. So let's briefly also understand what is this greenhouse effect before we understand how various greenhouse gases are causing greenhouse effect. So do we know what greenhouse is? What is meant by the term greenhouse? किसी को भी, like anyone of you who are sitting online, if you would want to answer what is greenhouse, anyone? कोई बताना चाहेगा? Raise your hand and let me know. No one wants to answer it. See, greenhouse is basically in very cold areas. In very cold areas where outside temperature is in negatives, vegetation would not be able to survive. We would not be able to grow anything. In those places, what is done is a glass house is created. That is, let's say I'm creating this house, which is made up of, like, whose walls are of glass. Now, what this glass house does is, it will allow sun rays to penetrate in, go in, but it will not allow heat to go out, all the heat to go out. So heat would remain trapped inside. What this would lead to is, the situation was earlier, the situation was that we could not grow plants outside because it's so cold. But because of the trapping of heat, inside we would be able to grow plants. That's why inside it there would be greenery. It is called greenhouse. And this effect of warming up of the inside part is greenhouse effect. Now, why does it happen? Why does it happen that it allows sun rays to penetrate in, but it does not allow the heat to go out? It's because the sun, which is a body with very high temperature, it emits radiation at very high frequencies. The sun, when sun is emitting radiation, it's emitting radiation at very high frequency. The electromagnetic waves are of high frequency. But when those sun rays hit the surface inside is not that hot. So when it will be emitting radiation, it will be of lower frequency. So the radiation which would be emitted back would be of lower frequency. Now this emission, which is of lower frequency and thus of lower energy, will not be able to penetrate through, and thus remains trapped inside. This effect you would also see in your cars. If you leave your car in sun and close the windows, so those windows allow sun rays to enter, but does not allow all the heat to get out. So when you sometimes when you park your cars in the open in sunlight, and when you come inside, it's like very hot, it's unbearably hot. The first thing you say, yaar, AC chala. And even after that, it takes some time because it's so hot. That's also because of the greenhouse effect of the glass there. Okay, so but this greenhouse that we just spoke about, the glass wala ghar, is a good thing. But greenhouse effect has become something of a negative connotation. So why has that been so? To understand that, let's first understand about, okay, forget it for now. Let's say this is our Earth. This is Earth. If we surround the Earth with a glass sphere, if we do that, will the temperature of Earth rise? Yes, it will allow something that was happening in a house in greenhouse. It would be happening throughout the Earth. Sun rays would be able to penetrate in, but all the heat would not be released very quickly. The overall heat that would remain trapped would be higher, and thus temperatures would go up. If we create a glass house around it, right? This is what would happen. But suppose now we do not have glass house, but we have a lot of gases which trap this heat. For example, water vapors. Do you know, in our atmosphere we have water vapors? Water vapors, they function something like that glass house. The atmosphere allows sun rays to come in, but the heat gets trapped. Heat is not able to get out. So because of water vapor, extra heat remains trapped within the atmosphere, and the temperature of Earth is warmer. In fact, it is said that if Earth did not have water vapors in its atmosphere and other greenhouse gases in its atmosphere, then temperature of Earth would have been negative. Average temperature, we just said that is roughly around 15 degrees Celsius. Let's say the average temperature would have been negative. It is when sun rays are coming in, it's allowing it to go out, but heat, it is trapping inside. It is trapping inside. So this heat remain trapped inside for longer period. Heating effect is for longer. So these gases which acts like, which contributes to the atmosphere acting like greenhouse, are called greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gas. समझ में आ रही है बात? एकदम clear है. Basic, these are basic things. Will come to current affairs. Give me. I just wanted that some people who have not studied environment from anywhere, even they should be like very comfortable with all these terminologies. These gases are called greenhouse gases. So water vapor, तो चलो naturally है, but there are a number of other greenhouse gases. For example, CO2, carbon dioxide. This is also a greenhouse gas. Nitrous oxide, even ozone, methane. These are all greenhouse gases. All well and good. These are all naturally also there in the environment. But since industrial revolution, what has started happening is we have started burning more fuel and thus emitting more CO2 in the atmosphere, and thus more greenhouse effect is taking place. Because of this, Earth's temperature is rising more than what was the situation at the industrial revolution, at the beginning of industrial revolution. Because we are emitting more and more CO2, more and more of methane is being emitted, more and more of nitrous oxide is being emitted, more and more of other greenhouse gases are being emitted. Global warming, the greenhouse effect is stronger, and there's a general rise in temperature on Earth, which is causing what is known as global warming. And because there's a rise in temperature of Earth, throughout Earth, temperature is rising. Will this be something called climate change? Long-term pattern of weather is changing. So this is what is leading to what is known as climate change. And our focus of today's class is on climate change. All the issues related to climate change, what is causing it and everything, we would cover. But I hope this, what is greenhouse effect, what is greenhouse. We do not have a glass sphere around Earth, but we have various gases which called greenhouse gases are also capable of trapping the heat of sun and the heat which was originally provided by sun, and thus are warming up the Earth. Fine. I hope समझ में आ रही है चीजें, किसी को कोई डाउट तो नहीं है? चलिए. So here we were trying to explain greenhouse effect. Around Earth we have atmosphere. In atmosphere you would see that, look here, the heat remains trapped, and because it remains trapped, the heating effect is taking place. Now greenhouse gases, the gases which are capable of trapping this heat, those gases are greenhouse gases. If you look at the general overview of which are the gases which are contributing most to the greenhouse effect, you would see that carbon dioxide. So the highest contribution is by water vapors. But water vapors are naturally there in the atmosphere and is not a big concern. It is these non-condensable gases. Water vapor will condense into water, will fall on Earth and all, which are causing problems. Carbon dioxide. 81% of the heating that's taking place is because of carbon dioxide. Second most important gas would be methane. Third, nitrous oxide. We'll study it in this order only. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. Then there are fluorinated gases. So we have developed, like, these fluorinated gases did not occur naturally in Earth's atmosphere. To replace chlorofluorocarbons which were used in refrigerants and were contributing in the depletion of ozone layer, we created many of these fluorinated gases which are also high, contributing heavily towards global warming. Okay, this is basically the industries, the sectors which are responsible for emission of greenhouse gases. And here you would see that agriculture, forestry, and other land use itself is playing a huge role. Like more than electricity production, just after electricity production, we have this. Now, please note, this is a rough global estimation. This may change slightly, but roughly know that 25% of the greenhouse gases are being emitted because of agriculture, forestry, and other land use. How would greenhouse gases be emitted by agriculture? एक तो indirectly, when we cut trees, when we remove trees, trees were consuming CO2. Now, when we cut them, we increase in a way greenhouse gases. But then decomposition of agriculture organic matter also leads to emission of greenhouse gases. Methane, which are produced from wetlands, which are produced from animal husbandry, that is also producing greenhouse gases. Right? So this is electricity generation and heat production. You can understand this. We burn coal, we burn petrol, we burn diesel, we burn natural gas for production of heat. That is causing that. Transportation industry is another big sector. Industry is contributing heavily to the greenhouse gas production. Then we have transportation, which is contributing to emission of greenhouse gases. Other energy sector, buildings, etc., are also responsible for it. So roughly have an idea which sector is contributing how much in this greenhouse gas production. Now, first greenhouse gas is water vapor. Please note, water vapor is the biggest contributor. इससे ज्यादा बड़ा contributor नहीं है कोई. But this is not problematic for us. This was naturally there, and when water vapors rise beyond a particular amount, saturation will take place, they'll fall on ground. But climate change somehow creates one problem. Because of climate change, temperature would be higher, and at higher temperature, you would know that more water can remain in the atmosphere. More water vapors remaining in the atmosphere, more heat trapping, higher temperature. So that is one problem, but our cause of concern is not water vapor. But in general, if someone asks you, which is the gas responsible for highest global warming effect, or global warming effect is which of the following gases is the most important contributor in among greenhouse gases, you would say water vapor. सबसे ज्यादा contribute water vapor कर रहा होता है. Please note this carefully. Okay, then comes CO2. We know how CO2 is produced. Any coal-based product which will burn in presence of oxygen, you would be producing CO2. So again, right from when you get up in the morning, you switched on the light. You'll do this. So it was produced from some electricity, which most probably was produced from by burning fuel. You contributed in CO2 emission. When you go for making your coffee and when you heat the milk, you're burning either the piped natural gas or the LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. They contain carbon compounds which will burn and produce CO2. To reach the institution, you may have taken a auto. Again, there diesel or petrol would have been burned. You may have come by your bike. You are producing CO2. Here in this classroom, we have a AC in front of us which is running. इसके लिए भी electricity may have come from burning some fossil fuel which has produced CO2. So in this way, there are lots of CO2 emission that each one of us have contributed. And because of increased population, because of deforestation, because of increased industrialization, because of increased production of electricity, because of increased use of transportation, the emission of CO2 have kept on going up. In fact, you would see that for the first time, CO2 has crossed 415 ppm ka limit. It was unimaginable कि इतना ज़्यादा CO2 would be produced. But this is something that has happened. a recent study by NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency, using some satellite data, have found that Earth के atmosphere पे now we have 415 ppm of CO2. In 1960, it was less than 320. You see that it has kept on going up. The amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is increasing, and because the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is increasing, what is happening? More trapping of heat is happening. Because more trapping of heat is happening, global warming is happening. Thus, climate change is happening. Effect of climate change हम पढ़ेंगे. When temperature rise, उसका एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर पे क्या इम्पैक्ट है, उसका सी लेवल राइज पे क्या इम्पैक्ट है, उसका ग्लेशियर्स के मेल्टिंग पे क्या इम्पैक्ट है. A lot of those things are there, but first, what is causing it? A lot of CO2 emission is causing global warming. Then we have methane. About methane we have studied thoda sa. Methane also acts as fuel in natural gas. It's methane which is the major contributor. So one source of methane in the atmosphere would be leak from those natural gas mining plants and all that. But those are accidental things, those could be prevented. But the production of most of the methane come from our wetlands. Wetlands जहां पे organic compounds का decomposition हो रहा होगा, they produce methane. If you remember, हमने बोला था landfill sites, they can easily catch fire. One of the reasons for landfill sites easily catching fire was that because of decomposition of organic products, वहां पे methane होता है. And once you start burning landfills, because of methane there, dousing it off becomes very difficult. So one major source of methane production is the wetland. Then there are other aspects like natural gas, cattle raising. Cattle produce methane, coal mining, etc. वहां से भी methane produce हो सकता है. Recently, in 2020, there's a global carbon project. We'll talk about that in detail. It has published global methane budget. So the data that we have, the latest data in the 2020 report, the latest data that we have is of the 2017. So here they're saying how much of methane is being produced, how much of methane is going into the sink, and net result kya hai. So you would see that net we are adding every year 18.2 teragrams of methane. 18.2 teragrams of methane. Should I increase its size? Come here. So dekho, 570 teragram of methane is something that is being emitted. Roughly 556 teragram of methane is something that is going into the sink, and roughly 18.2 teragram of methane is being added in the atmosphere every year as per global methane budget. Which is the largest contributor? जो emission हो रहा है, you would see agriculture and waste. उसके बाद wetlands. Then you would see fossil fuel production and use. Production ke time natural gas and all can be leaked. There is some natural emissions also take place. The naturally plants are there where those things, and then biomass and biofuel burning may also produce methane. Methane does not remain in atmosphere for long. It's part of that natural cycle jahan pe in the atmosphere by chemical reaction it will be destroyed. But we are more and more methane is getting added. Its contribution to global warming is very high. So after CO2, देखो सबसे बड़ा factor water है. Keep it aside because it's something that we are not directly controlling as such, and it's short-lived, very short-lived. Then there are other factors involved. But then सबसे बड़ा factor CO2 है. After the CO2, it's methane, and according to this budget, methane's concentration in the atmosphere is increasing. Okay, now what are the factors? So यहाँ पे ये, according to this report, agriculture of the anthropogenic factors, human-made factors, agriculture is causing 60% of the methane contribution, and fossil fuel 40%. And here you may see, understand, agriculture and waste, wetlands को भी वो some agriculture land use में मान लेंगे. So that is causing 60% of the methane production, and then fossil fuel production, biomass and biofuel burning, etc., is causing another 40% of the methane contribution. Fine. We'll study about who published this budget. We'll study in today's class only. But for now, methane is also increasingly going up in the atmosphere. Then comes nitrous oxide. We have studied about nitrous oxide slightly when we were studying about nitrogen pollution. There are some basic details about nitrous oxide we had specifically covered. We know that nitrous oxide is a pollutant. Nitrous oxide is something that may deplete ozone, that may contribute in the depletion of ozone, but it's also something that is a greenhouse gas. What is meant by it being a greenhouse gas? It means that it will be trapping the heat in the atmosphere and thus causing global warming. तो इसका भी एक global nitrous oxide budget was released recently, which is showing that net we are adding 4.3 teragrams of nitrogen every year. Every year we are adding 4.3 teragrams of nitrogen, and most of it you would see is coming nitrous oxide, and most of it you would see is coming from agriculture. Among the anthropogenic sources, there are some natural sources also, and naturally soil से nitrous oxide जो the nitrogen cycle में जो part है उसमें भी a lot of nitrous oxide is present, but this is again not a cause of concern because we are not causing it, we are causing this, and this is something that we have to take care of. So overall result क्या है? Overall result है that there is addition of nitrous oxide 4.3 teragram. Yesterday we had told that giga के बाद mega के बाद giga के बाद tera, so 10 raised to 12 grams. If you want to convert it into kgs, 10 raised to 9 kgs, 1 billion kg, और यहाँ पे 4.3 billion kg of nitrous oxide is something that we are adding in atmosphere every year as per this budget. You can understand why temperature is rising, because these greenhouse gases, they are increasing in the atmosphere. Now, ozone, we have already studied everything about ozone in the air pollution section. Please note that ozone is also a greenhouse gas. Just for preliminary examination, know this, it's not very important as such because ozone is very unstable. Right? Ozone is unstable. It doesn't remain in the atmosphere for long. It will react easily. All those things are there. But ozone is also a greenhouse gas. For prelims, just know this. Do not ignore this thing. Then we have fluorinated gases, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, SF6, nitrogen trifluoride, NF3, and so on. So all these are not naturally available in the nature. CO2 was naturally there, ozone was naturally there, methane was naturally there, nitrous oxide was naturally there. This is not naturally available in the atmosphere. These are all man-made. So to replace chlorofluorocarbons, we created these hydrofluorocarbons, and for other industrial purposes we have created these products, and they are also adding to the global warming effect now. Okay, so these were various gases which are contributing in the global warming effect, or which are greenhouse gases and are leading to temperature rise. Other than this, we also have some things called aerosols, which are contributing to the heating effect of the atmosphere and thus are causing global warming. What are aerosols? Aerosols are basically particles which are floating in the atmosphere. The two aerosols which are very important for us are black carbon and brown carbon that we want to cover here, which are both causing global warming. Black carbon. And this black carbon, brown carbon remains in news throughout the year. तो हमें वैसे भी पढ़ना होता है Even if I was only taking current affairs section, only current affairs, I would have covered most of these things. See, nitrous oxide ka budget was in news. Methane wala was in news. So we haven't done a lot of extra things. Current affairs is something which covers a lot of static aspects also. So anyways, we would have covered this in current affairs. So come to black carbon. What is black carbon? So when a fuel is being burnt at high temperature, that fuel may be diesel, petrol, coal, black carbon is produced. Black carbon क्या होते हैं? At very basic level, what are black carbon? Black carbon are nothing but carbon element, unburnt carbon element, which are structured together in complex way, and in the particle form they are released. You would see when we burn coal, only CO2 is not emitted. Some unburnt carbon may also go away with the smoke. So some of that unburned carbon would be this black carbon. Okay, so what is black carbon? It is the sooty black material emitted from gas, diesel engine, coal, or many of these fossil fuels which are burning at high temperature. These are basically pure carbon which are linked in several different forms. Now, it is an environment pollutant. It contributes in the formation of particulate matter. We know that particulate matter 2.5 is one of the worst pollutant, one of the most harmful pollutant. In fact, when we measure air pollution, sometimes we only measure particulate matter 2.5 because it's this dangerous. We had covered particulate matter 2.5 in the very first class on pollution, where we had said that these are so small that they can penetrate our lungs and get into our bloodstream, causing problems for us. So it's a pollutant, yes, for sure, but it's also having global warming effect, and especially it is harmful for glaciers and is causing snow melt. Why? How is it harmful for glaciers and how is it causing snow melt? By two factors. One, when these black carbons settle on glaciers, they lead to glaciers, snow is white, right? So a lot of light is reflected back from there. But when these black carbons settle on snow, what would happen? The reflectivity of snow would reduce. It will end up absorbing more heat, and thus more melting may take place. Second, they themselves can be heated. They increase the air temperature. Why? Because this black carbon themselves absorb a lot of heat. So even when they are floating in air, they will absorb heat and thus increase the air temperature, which will lead to increased temperature and thus global warming. And if this is happening over Himalayas, the melting of the glaciers there, melting of the snow there. Fine? समझ में आ रही है बात? Black carbon, other than being a pollutant, other than contributing in PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5 formation, they are also contributing in global warming. We're not calling them gases, greenhouse gases. We can understand because these are not gas. Methane was gas, CO2 was a gas, water vapor was a gas. It's not a gas, but aerosols में we're talking about particulate matter 2.5. What are the main? Achha, other than these, there are some other ways in which they can contribute to climate change. They affect the cloud formation. Now, normal cloud formation is part of the climatic system. If those are negatively affected, it's also climate change. They may also be contributing in depleting of ozone layer. Indirectly, they add to the depletion of ozone layer. So, wahan pe bhi they are contributing in climate change. So, what are the sources? Sources may be said high temperature burning of fossil fuel ke time black carbon would be produced. So, incomplete burning of fuel is one major factor for black carbon being produced. So, solid fuel burning, coal, biomass, which may be burned at home, which may be burnt in industries and so on, diesel exhaust. So, this solid fuel burn contributes to 45 to 66% of the black carbon. This diesel exhaust contribute to 7 to 18% of the black carbon. India is a country which uses a lot of biomass for cooking and all, and thus India is one of the largest contributor to the world's black carbon emission. 25% of the world's black carbon emission is caused by India. 25% is caused by India. This makes India the second largest contributor. So we should not be doing this. It's bad. We're contributing so much to the black carbon, which is also negatively hampering Himalayas and all. So what are we doing about it? A number of steps have been taken. For example, if you would see, if you would think about what are the steps being taken to deal with black carbon, so we would say ki yaar, BS6 norms, that will lead to better, more efficient fuel, right? That is something helping us fight black carbon. Ujjwala Yojana, जहां पे we are providing Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, where we are providing LPG cylinders in to BPL families and all, so that they do not use biomass and they use LPG. That is contributing to this. Earlier, efficient chulhas were also provided in rural areas. Those chulhas led to better burning, more efficient burning of fuels. That was also contributing to reduction in black carbon. Then something like doing away with diesel vehicles, diesel or petrol vehicles. For example, use of CNG in Delhi, use of electric vehicles. Those are all contributing to global warming. To India's efforts towards fighting black carbon. But in spite of all this, effort, the things are not good. And it is being said that at current rate, there would be water from glaciers melt is still projected to increase in absolute volume by 2040. That is, glacier melting would keep taking place. So we have to take more steps to fight this black carbon emission. Okay, so black carbon, one of the aerosols. Then comes brown carbon. What is brown carbon? देखो, black carbon generally is associated with high temperature burning of fuels. Brown carbon is associated with biomass burning. So when you go for biomass combustion, you also produce the biomass combustion and black carbon would be produced, but some brown carbon is also getting produced. So brown carbon is also light absorbing part of organic aerosol, organic particles which are floating in the atmosphere. So black carbon was one of the aerosol. It is also one of the light absorbing part of the organic aerosol, and thus it will also heat up the atmosphere. When it's there, it will also, when it settles down, maybe contributing to the easier melting of the glaciers. Now there's a special feature of brown carbon, technical aspect. It is more efficient in absorption of light at higher frequency. So violet, indigo, blue wala range mein, it will do better absorption rather than lower frequency. In fact, it absorbs ultraviolet in a better way. Here we must have written it absorbs strongly in the ultraviolet wavelength and less significantly into the visible frequency. And thus the color, brown color होने का factor होता है ना कि कौन सा absorb कर रहे हो, कौन सा absorb नहीं, which electromagnetic waves are you absorbing, which electromagnetic waves are you not absorbing and are reflecting back, and thus the color brown comes into play. So where does this brown carbon comes from? This brown carbons come from smoldering fires or coal combustion. What is smoldering fire? Smoldering fire is that fire that burns without flame. They say when we use coal, so after coal is burned, you'll see अंगीठी में जो रहता है, I don't know what is called in English. Coal, which is after you burn something, after you burn wood, let's say. When you burn wood, so there would be flame coming and all, but after that you will be left with solid pieces, solid golden pieces, which are not actually having flames. That is स्मोल्डरिंग फायर्स और कोल कंबशन बायोफ्यूल से प्रोड्यूस होता है. देन ब्रेकडाउन प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम बायोमास बर्निंग, स्टबल बर्निंग, a mixture of organic compounds emitted from soil and volatile organic compounds given off the vegetation. So there are natural sources also other than the fossil fuel burning. There are natural sources also for brown carbon. Now please differentiate between primary brown carbon and secondary brown carbon. What is primary brown carbon? Primary brown carbon is that carbon which is produced at the same time when black carbon is being produced. जब ब्लैक कार्बन प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है दैट टाइम प्राइमरी ब्राउन कार्बन प्राइमरी सोर्स से ही प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. सेकेंडरी ब्राउन कार्बन वुड बी दीज which is emitted from soil and all. These would be secondary brown carbon which would be formed in some other situation, would be secondary brown carbon. Okay, now it was brown carbon which was also blamed to cause the discoloration of Taj Mahal. It was this settlement of brown carbon which was causing this discoloration. Okay, finally, we clearly want to differentiate between black carbon and brown carbon. So black carbon is produced by high temperature combustion. वो पेट्रोल डीजल, इट्स नॉट नेसेसरली बायोमास कंबस्शन से ही होगा, पेट्रोल डीजल किसी का भी हाई टेम्परेचर कंबस्शन से द ब्लैक कार्बन में बी प्रोड्यूस. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू ब्राउन कार्बन इट इज मेनली एमिटेड बाय बायोमास कंबस्शन फर्स्ट. Second, in terms of atmospheric heating by aerosols, most of the contribution is by black carbon. Black carbon contributes to 72% of the heat trapped by aerosols. 19% is caused by brown carbon. So 72 and 19, almost 90% of heat trapping by aerosols is by black and brown carbon combined together. Black 72% and brown 19%. The remaining 9%, maybe 9%. So there are other aerosols also in the air, which includes sulfate or other organic aerosols. They contribute to the remaining 9%. So black carbon's contribution is much higher in heat trapping compared to brown carbon. Then both are also two most important light absorbing substances that we know of. Recently in Down to Earth there was a news relating to what is known as tar balls. Tar balls are basically something that is formed out of this brown carbon, and they can travel long distances. And thus, even in the Gangetic plains or on the lower side, the brown carbon which is being produced, those in the form of tar balls are getting onto the glaciers and are causing, tar balls from long range transport are getting onto the glaciers and are causing the melting there. Recently, 28% of particles which were collected from air samples in the Himalayan Tibetan plateau were found to be tar balls. So we do not have to get into a lot of details, but when you hear the term tar balls, it should not be alien to you. It should be like, हाँ थोड़ा बहुत तो आता है हमें tar balls के बारे में भी. Okay, so these were so far what we have studied. We have studied various gases and particulate matters or aerosols which are responsible for global warming. Okay, let me open the field for doubts. किसी को कोई doubts है? Let me see the raised hands if there are any doubts. Samreen has asked, please explain the difference between primary and secondary brown carbon. Beta, it's nothing but, देखो, when black carbon is produced, at the same time, if from the same source and at the same time, if brown carbon is also being produced, that is primary brown carbon. From brown carbons being produced from other sources are secondary brown carbon, जहाँ पे primary black carbon is also not being produced. Okay, तो sorry, नहीं, for students it's clear. I hope आपको ये समझ में आया है. Now there are no other doubts. Samreen says thank you. No one is asking anything else. Let me move on to what is known as what is called global warming potential. So global warming potential is something that we want to understand. The term global warming potential. So now let's say we have three gases, X1, X2, and X3. Three different gases in the atmosphere, which will warm the globe more, which will have more heating effect. What are the factors which would decide it? One is how much of heat they can trap, how much of heat they can trap. One gas may be very efficient in trapping heat. It may be slightly less efficient. It may be slightly less efficient. Right? This would be one of the factors. How much heat can you trap? Other factor would be your life. This may have a very small life. So though when it would be there in the atmosphere, it will trap a lot of heat. But if life is small, your contribution in overall global warming would be less. But if your life is, let's say, 100 years, once you are produced, you will remain in atmosphere for 100 years. So even if your heat trapping capabilities are lesser, because you will keep trapping heat for so many years, your contribution would be higher. Your overall contribution in the global warming would be higher. These two factors combined together determine global warming potential of a gas. Which two factors? How much of heat trapping can you do, and how much is your life, for how long will you survive? These two factors will determine global warming potential. So you have understood what global warming potential is, right? One molecule of CO2, one molecule of methane, one molecule of nitrous oxide. One molecule will contribute to how much of global warming. It will be determined by one, how much of heat can be trapped by that molecule, and what is the life of that molecule. Let's say a compound can trap a lot of heat, but वो थोड़े time के लिए ही survive करता है, global warming potential would be less. A compound cannot trap a lot of heat, less heat, but its life is more, its global warming potential would be high. A compound which can trap a lot of heat but also has a lot of life, very high global warming potential, right? So this was global warming potential. Generally gases जिनका global warming potential ज़्यादा होता है, they're more dangerous. But then there's one more factor. How much of that gas is being produced? So overall, how much CO2 will trap heat? So right now we say that CO2. We say that CO2 is the major factor in global warming. Why? Is it global warming potential very high? That is it? Does it have a very long life and does it trap a lot of heat? No. We say it because a lot of CO2 is being produced. The quantity is also that determines how much would be the contribution of that gas in the global warming, but quantity does not determine potential, global warming potential. Quantity will not decide global warming potential. Global warming potential would be determined by life and heat trapping abilities. समझ में आ रही है बात? Okay. So when compared to one molecule of CO2, एक molecule of carbon dioxide, what is the global warming potential of other gases? HFC, hydrofluorocarbon. One molecule of hydrofluorocarbon is equivalent to 1000 molecules of CO2. One molecule of hydrofluorocarbon is equivalent to 1000 molecules of CO2. What does it mean? What is it trying to say? That global warming potential of one molecule of HFC is 1000 times more. Similarly, nitrous oxide, 300 times more. Methane, 21 times more. But ज्यादा global warming हो किससे रहा है? CO2 से हो रहा है. Why? Because quantity of CO2 is produced is much higher. Here again I'm repeating कि global warming potential decide होने में quantity does not matter. HFC का quantity is not that large, but its global warming potential is 1,000 times of that of CO2. Right? I'll give you a objective question on this. And last year, a lot of students had made a mistake on this. They had included quantity also in the global warming potential. While measuring global warming potential, that should not happen. Okay? Okay. Now, we're done with the fundamental aspects. कोई doubts है तो पूछ लीजिए before we jump on to other things. There are no doubts. कोई बात ही नहीं करना चाहता मुझसे. सब नाराज हैं. बस सब सुन रहे हैं बैठ के. It seems you people get up in the morning. चलो क्लास शुरू होने वाली है. Let's start the laptop. Let's put the headphone and let's go back to sleep. कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है. चलिए. Sustainable development goals and climate change. Sustainable development goals and climate change. So we know that the global community as such have identified certain goals to be achieved by 2030 to ensure that our development is sustainable. Usme ending poverty, ensuring literacy for everyone, good health, less pollution, protecting biodiversity. While covering biodiversity, we had seen SDG goals related to biodiversity. All those things are there. One of the key goals there is also regarding fighting climate change. That is goal 13, climate action. So for prelims, you should at least know this goal 13 is related to climate change. Then there are some targets under it. That is strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disaster. Resilience and adaptive capacity with climate-related disasters. What are climate-related disasters? Climate-related disasters are more stronger cyclones. So आप अपना resilience, like when you are creating infrastructure, you make it so resilient that they will not be damaged by cyclones. When you adapt yourself, you settle more in those areas where impact of climate change or impact of those cyclones would not be that high. Rising sea level, that is one of the hazards that would be caused by climate change. So adapt करने का मतलब you settle more and more people in those areas where what would happen, where sea level rise would not have an impact. So I see there are certain goals, but for prelims, please note it carefully that goal 13 of SDG is related to climate action. Okay, there's one more doubt. Upmanyu is asking, sir, we use soot and black carbon interchangeably. Do we need to know the difference? Yes, soot may contain other things also. Black carbon is only black carbon, but soot may include in it other aspects, other things as well. So there is a difference. Chalo, coming back to this. So ye all aspect ho gaya. Now we'll look at various international and national reports related to climate change. Till last year, I used to cover these reports towards the end. But this year, I thought logically going, we should do these reports earlier. Why? Because all these reports are telling you what is happening because of climate change. So we have understood what climate change is. We have understood what are the factors, what are the causes there, like which gas is responsible for what. Then these two reports will understand the extent. Kitna climate change ho raha hai? How much are we working towards fighting this climate change? And that's why I want to discuss it before discussing other things. So there are many reports which came in last 1 year. I've tried to arrange them as systematically as possible so that for you people it would be very easy. So first, there are two reports by World Meteorological Organization. Look at the name of the first report, State of Global Climate Report 2020. State of global climate. What is the situation in global climate? This is the report by World Meteorological Organization, which is the UN body in the field of climate studies. So, before we get into the details of this report, आपसे पूछा जाएगा state of climate report. So, even if you have not done any study, you will say, "अरे temperature बढ़ रहा है." State of climate report में this is what you would say. They'll also say this. You would say CO2 बढ़ रहा है. They'll also say this. So logically also, please understand why am I teaching you like this? Even logically, even if you don't remember what is given in the report, you do not have to remember what is given in the report. But even if you don't remember what is given in the report, understand climate change is taking place. State of global state of global climate report should also be talking the same thing. So it says the year 2020 was among the 3 warmest year found so far, recorded so far. In spite of the fact that in 2020, because of La Nina, there was cooling down. Even then, it is among the 3 warmest year. 2020, you would see that would be perhaps more hotter than this. 2016 is recorded to be the warmest year recorded so far. The year 2020 was the 3rd warmest year. Then global average temperature is 1.2 degrees Celsius higher than the pre-industrial level. This we already know. Okay, then 6 years since 2015, that is 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 have been the hottest 6 years ever. जब से हमने रिकॉर्डिंग करना शुरू किया है, कोई भी continuous 6 years was not this hot. Then this decade 11 to 20 is the warmest decade on record. Why? What is it all saying? हमने अभी तक पढ़ा gases are going up, CO2 is high and nitrous oxide is high, methane is high, they are increasing. The study says उसका impact भी दिख रहा है. We are, since the recording of this temperature and all started, we are living in the hottest phase. Then the report have also identified key indicators of irreversible change. That key indicators of irreversible change, matlab, the report is also saying that we are perhaps moving towards irreversible situation. One, they say that greenhouse gases emission increased in 2019 as well as 2020, and it is going to be higher in 2021. We have to reduce greenhouse gases, but it's going to be higher in 2021. Average mole fraction of CO2 have already exceeded 410 ppm. We saw another study which says 415 ppm. So know that earlier the percentage of CO2 in the atmosphere used to be 0.2, something like that, 0.2, 0.3 हम पढ़ते थे. Now it is above 0.4%. Now it is above 0.4%. Second, oceans in 2020 had the highest heat content on record. इतना heat ocean में कभी नहीं रहा जितना अभी है. And because of this, we are facing a lot of marine heat waves. Then sea level rise. 1993 में we started measuring the sea level rise, and it has been consistently rising. But in 2020, there was a blip. Sea level fell slightly, and that was because of La Nina effect. La Nina effect led to cooling, so sea level fell. Though the temperature that we were measuring did not go down that much, but sea level fell. Then Arctic and Antarctic, the North Pole and the South Pole, there also a lot of melting is taking place. In 2020, Arctic sea ice was down to the 2nd lowest on record. Antarctic sea ice has remained close to the long-term average. Like Antarctic sea ice is not declining, but over the years it has exhibited strong mass loss trend. Mass loss trend मतलब बड़ा सा एक ब्लॉक टूट के अलग हो जाएगा, ऐसा ट्रेंड it has been showing. In India also, extreme weather events have happened in 2020. For example, cyclone Amphan, which hit West Bengal in 2020, May 2020, it was one of the costliest cyclone to hit India. Similarly, the year 2020 also saw one of the wettest monsoons since 1994. Variability in the weather conditions because of climate change. So, state of global climate report. Now, do you have to remember all these things? No. State of global climate report is published by WMO. It says that temperature is rising. It says that CO2 is rising. It says that despite La Nina, the temperature in 2020 was pretty high. But because of La Nina, there was a blip in the sea level rise. This is interesting. But students who have not studied, who only want to use their logic to attempt the question, there a statement would be given in 2020 sea level fell slightly. They'd be like, nahi, ye nahi ho sakta. Or suppose we give two statements. One, in 2020 was one of the warmest year on record. And second statement, sea level fell slightly according to state of global climate report. Now logic would not apply. You would say temperature rise hua, sea level down hua. No, it's not possible. But it happened. La Nina has more impact on ocean. So ocean mein temperature could be lower. समझ में आ रहा है? बात समझ में आ रही है? Okay. So यहाँ पे you should also know briefly about World Meteorological Organization, the organization which is publishing the report. It's a specialized UN body which is working in the field of weather and climate and all. So it studies the relation between atmosphere and Earth's atmosphere and its interaction with oceans, the climate that it produces, and overall water resources कैसे distributed होंगे. It's headquartered in Geneva. Earlier, this body originated in 1873 as International Meteorological Organization. Later, in 1950, it was established as a specialized body of United Nations. So even before United Nations, this body existed. Fine. So state of global climate report. WMO only publishes another report, State of Climate Service report. Now look at the name. Like when you looked at the name of State of Global Climate Report, so you understood that globally climate ka kya situation hai. That is the State of Global Climate Report is talking about. Now when you look at this report, State of Climate Service report, State of Climate Service. Now abhi just think of the name, Climate Service. That is how much efforts countries are putting to deal with climate. This would be doing something like that. So the 2020 State of Climate Service report was prepared by WMO and 17 other partner organizations in October 2020. It is the second report. First report was published for the first time in 2019 only. So pehle let's understand why does this report started getting published. In 2018, when members who have signed Paris Agreement, Conference of Parties to the Paris Agreement, met at the 24th Conference of Parties for UNFCCC. Let me briefly explain you this Conference of Parties thing. देखो कोई भी कन्वेंशन है ना, जैसे यूएन यूनाइटेड नेशन फ्रेमवर्क कन्वेंशन ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज, दिस इज अ कन्वेंशन है ना. ऐसे ही कन्वेंशन ऑन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड इन एंडेंजर्ड स्पीसीज, दिस इज अ कन्वेंशन. देयर मे बी कन्वेंशन ऑन desertification and all. So the parties which sign this convention, which ratify the convention, are member parties here, and when they meet annually, that is called COP, Conference of Parties. तो जैसे COP, यूनाइटेड नेशन फ्रेमवर्क कन्वेंशन ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज का COP 26, the Conference of Parties 26 was supposed to be held when? It was supposed to be held in 2020 at Glasgow, United Kingdom. It could not be held. Why was it not held? Because of COVID-19. So COP 26 is supposed to be held now in 2021 in October. It may be held, but again, we do not know COVID-19 से क्या impact होगा क्या नहीं. again cases have started rising in different parts of the world, it may become a concern. तो please keep taking precautions. इंडिया में मत राइज होने दो, मेरा नया इंस्टीट्यूशन बंद हो जाएगा बच्चे ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर आ नहीं रहे हैं तो से आई पर्सनली फेस अ लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज बिकॉज हम अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं ये हमारे बच्चे जानते हैं. So when they'll be living in old Rajendra Nagar with other students, they would be able to say कि when if you want to study current affairs, go to Santosh. Otherwise, not a lot of people know me. Not a lot of people know my institute. Even if someone recommends, अरे ये तो 7-8 महीने पुराना इंस्टीट्यूट है, यहाँ कौन ज्वाइन करेगा? This is general attitude. That is why we want that more people should be able to come to ORN. Then they'll be able to see the notes, they'll be able to come to a demo class, they'll be able to talk to friends where I know like you people would be like very strongly recommending it कि हाँ सर अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, कुछ और करने की जरूरत नहीं, ये सारी चीजें आप बोल रहे होगे, बट बच्चे तो हो यहाँ पे. तो इसीलिए हम चाहते हैं थर्ड वेव दूर दूर तक ना आए, इंस्टीट्यूशंस खुल जाएं, आप लोगों को हम ऑफलाइन पढ़ा पाए एंड ऑल. तो हाँ, तो थोड़ा डाइवर्ट हो गए. तो COP26 is going to be held in Glasgow in United Kingdom in October. We'll talk about UNFCCC in a lot of more detail, perhaps today only. देखते हैं कब तक पढ़ा सकते हैं. But now coming to, क्या हम डिस्कस क्या कर रहे थे? नहीं, हाँ COP नहीं, we were discussing the climate service report. तो in the 24th अच्छा COP ने एक और चीज, UNFCCC का COP26 में ये हुआ. Now UNFCCC का COP26 was supposed to be held in 2020. तो 21 5 साल पहले 15 में हुआ था. In COP21 an agreement called Paris Agreement. We'll study Paris Agreement in a lot of detail. We'll study every aspect. Was signed. So now there are countries who have signed Paris Agreement. So when they meet, that is considered COP of members who have signed Paris Agreement. Did you understand? Now let's come back to this. So in 2018, COP serving as meeting of parties to the Paris Agreement. They met at where? Where did they meet? At the COP of UNFCCC. 24th COP of UNFCCC. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change का 24th COP was held in 2018. There Paris Agreement signatories also met, and there it was decided. They called upon, UNFCCC called upon World Meteorological Organization that through your body, which body? Global Framework for Climate Service. Through your this body, every year regularly prepare on the state of climate services. The aim is to ensure, facilitate and development and application of methodologies for assessing adaptation needs. So in 2019, first report was published. In 2020, second report was published. Second report is related to early warning systems. Second report of this climate service is related to early warning system. What is it saying? It's saying that as climate change continues to threaten human lives, early warning systems are increasingly seen as a key for reducing impact of hazards. Majority of the parties which are members of UNFCCC are giving high priority to early warning systems. But even now, even after that, even after the fact that majority of parties are giving high priority, 1/3 of the global population are not covered by early warning systems against disasters which they may face. And therefore, the report recommends 5-6 things about how to improve the early warning systems. It says that we need to invest more to fill the EWS capacity gap. Early warning system capacity gaps ko fill karne ke liye we need to invest more. Then focus investment on turning early warning information into early action. That is, early warning system has been established. Now that early warning system is saying कि a flood may come, but उस पे action भी होना चाहिए ना, तो that also needs to be focused upon. And I say there are some more recommendations. Go through it once. For prelims, you do not have to worry about it. For mains, this is very important. कि early warning system globally हम कैसे improve कर सकते हैं? You can give recommendation by State of Climate Service report. So for preliminary examination, State of Climate Service Report, second edition was published in 2020 by World Meteorological Organization. It was asked to do this by UNFCCC in the 2018 at the COP24 of UNFCCC. For preliminary examination, know these things. Do not forget these things. So these were the reports by World Meteorological Organization, State of Global Climate Report and State of Climate Service. Then comes United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. इसके दो तो गैप रिपोर्ट हैं, emission gap report and adaptation gap report. So first, let's understand what is emission gap report. Okay, now to understand emission gap report, again, just look at the name carefully. Emission. And gap. Gap is also a brand of clothes, huh? Gap. Emission gap report. कुछ लोग मुझे ऐसे देख रहे हैं, सर को ये नहीं पता कितने गवार हैं सर. Now see, climate change is happening because of a lot of emission of CO2 or methane or nitrous oxide. So there are recommendations that you should reduce your emissions to ensure that global temperature do not go beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius more than the pre-industrial level temperature. But we already have increased the temperature to 1.2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level situation. So we have to reduce our emissions. So let's say our emissions should go to this level. But right now our emissions are at this level. It is this gap that they are talking about. It is this gap that they are talking about. कि आपके targets क्या है and how much are you actually emitting? That emission gap report. So your target to achieve 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature is this much emission. But because you're emitting this much emission, you will go to 3 degrees Celsius rise. Emission gap report is referring to this global aspect. Globally, what is the thing going on? So it is a report by UNEP. It is saying that despite a dip in 2002 CO2 emission, 2020 CO2 emission. In 2020, CO2 emission had gone down. Industries, transport, a lot of things had been affected. So CO2 emission had gone down. Despite a dip in 2020 CO2 emission because of COVID-19, even now we are heading for a temperature rise in excess to 3 degrees Celsius. It says that in 2019, the greenhouse gas emission was 59.1 gigaton of CO2 equivalent. Here we are using the term CO2 equivalent because सिर्फ CO2 emit नहीं होता. So rather than saying कि कितना N2O emit हुआ, कितना how much of N2O was emitted, how much of methane was emitted, we convert all that into CO2 equivalent by the global warming potential mechanism. 1 gram of HFC would be equal to 1 kg of CO2. 1000 times more potential है उसका, right? So 59.1 gigatons of CO2 equivalent was emitted in 2019. So it is saying what are the key areas you should be working upon. First, focus on green pandemic recovery. That is the COVID-19 से जो recovery हो रही है, when you are starting businesses, when you are starting transportation system, please ensure that this time there is focus on green recovery, green sources of fuel and all from the very beginning. Then cut global emission by 7.6% every year. If you will not do this, you will not be able to restrain your temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And finally, in short term, developed countries will have to reduce their emissions more. Developing countries may not be able to do it, but eventually all countries will need to contribute to collective efforts. These are certain things that emission gap report is saying. But हमारे लिए क्या UNEP ने publish किया है and emission gap ज़्यादा है. Knowing this is enough for preliminary examination about emission gap report. Then there's another report, adaptation gap report by UNEP. It was published in January 2021. Now, what is adaptation gap? Adaptation gap, just 1 second. Adaptation gap, see, climate change is happening. So you have to adapt to it. For example, when temperature rise, when sea level rise, there would be people who are living just on the coast. They'll be flooded. So they have to be moved away from them. As temperature rise, we have to ensure that Delhi mein zyada greenery ho. Otherwise, heat island effect and all those things would create problems. So we have to adapt ourselves to it. Towards that adaptation, how much of the gap is there? जैसे emission gap report, did you understand? ऐसी adaptation gap report towards our efforts towards that adaptation, how much of the gap is there? So adaptation mein, there are 3 things. First, you have to plan for it. Then you have to provide finance for it. And then you have to implement it. Planning for it, providing finance for it, and implementing it. So this adaptation gap report is saying that on planning, we are doing well. Globally, everyone is planning well. But when it comes to providing finance and implementation, we are not doing as well. So what they're recommending, they're saying that public and private finance for adaptation have to be increased, have to be mobilized, then focus more on nature-based solution, more sustainable solution. जो भी आप adaptation की बातें कर रहे हैं, वो environment friendly होना चाहिए, and finally pursue green pandemic recovery. Even they are saying the recovery from COVID-19 should be green in nature, pursue green pandemic recovery. And you're understanding the idea overall, adaptation gap. Adaptation mein you have to plan, you have to finance, you have to implement. The report says planning, okay, fine, everyone is planning. But what is happening to finance and implementation? Nothing. There, you need to increase both public and private finance. You need to focus on nature-based solution, and you need to go for the green recovery. Fine. Now, global environment outlook. Global environment outlook. Global environment outlook. Iska 6th report was published in 2019 by UNEP. The newer reports, Global Environment Outlook 7 has not come. So I'm not getting into the details of the 6th report, but environment का outlook बता रहा है. So generally environmental problems, solutions, recommendations, those kind of things would be there. So it covers all environmental issues and they're linked to human health. It is prepared by UNEP. So this is the 3rd report by UNEP that you should know about. Global Environment Outlook. So far, emission gap report, adaptation gap report, global environment outlook. 3 reports by UNEP. We've done 2 reports by WMO. Which 2 reports by WMO? State of global climate and state of climate service report. State of global climate तो हर साल चलता आ रहा है बहुत सालों से, but state of climate service इसका only 2nd version came in 2020. 5 reports, पांचों याद हैं? कौन publish कर रहा है? No issues, no problems. Let's go to the 6th report. Peatland protection will help attain climate goals. This is so basically the report is peatland mapping and monitoring, recommendations and technical overview. It was published by FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. So first let's understand what peatlands are and why they're important before we get into what the report says. So peatland क्या होता है? कोई बताएगा? I do not want to speak. I have kept on speaking for more than an hour now. Someone just take a guess. People who are sitting online and sleeping online, they should answer. What is peatland? देखो मैं नाम बुलाने लगूंगा, खुद से बता दो. Bhavani is saying where water is logged. Not necessarily. Water is logging is necessary, but that's not sufficient. देखो, peatlands are those areas where there is water logging, but then there's also a lot of biomass, organic products there. So let's say a lake is there, waterlogged. Over the years, it's in the jungles. A lot of wooden pieces have fallen in it. a lot of leaves have fallen in it, and thus it has a lot of organic waste which is decomposing or not. A lot of it is just like that, they're not decomposing. That is peatland. Did you get what peatland is? An area of logged water, where water is logged and then waste from the forest is accumulated there. This is peatland. Okay, now क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट होगा? देखो, वेस्ट accumulated है, organic waste accumulated है, it means it has stored a lot of CO2. If you destroy that peatland, then that organic waste eventually will get decomposed and CO2 will be emitted in the environment. CO2 would be emitted in the environment, and therefore Food and Agriculture Organization was doing this study, peatland mapping and monitoring recommendations and technical overview. It is saying that peatland represent a huge terrestrial carbon reserve. It also says that damage to this ecosystem may be a major source of greenhouse gases which are being released. So damages like drainage and fires. Drainage, like that lake was there, usse aapne sara pani baha diya, drainage. Or fire is estimated to contribute at least 5% of the global greenhouse gases. So damaging peatland is causing at least 5% of the global greenhouse gases being released, and therefore in this report they say that peatland covers 3% of its surface, but they contain 30% of the world's soil carbon. In this report, they say that their degradation of peatlands through drainage, through fire, through agriculture use and forestry can trigger release of stored carbon in few decades, and therefore they have recommended that we need to urgently map these peatlands. कहाँ पे हैं? देखो, सबसे पहले in order to protect something, you have to understand where they are, what they are, how they are. So here, where they are, and then start monitoring them. Then it will also help us work towards conservation and restoration. After this is done, so for this monitoring, we can use satellite data or ground-based exercises. We have to monitor it better and thus protect these peatlands better. These are important source of greenhouse gases if they are destroyed. So these are important source of carbon storage or carbon sink, and that should be protected. So peatlands related report, Food and Agriculture Organization. This is the 6th report. First 2 report by WMO, State of Global Climate, State of Climate Service. Next 3 reports by UNEP, Emission Gap, Adaptation Gap, and Global Environment Outlook 6. 6th report, ये peatland वाला, by Food and Agriculture Organization. It came in March 2020, but I wanted to cover it for 2 reasons. One, report कौन publish करता है ये वाला, कौन किसने publish किया वो आ सकता है. But second, they may ask questions related to peatlands. They constitute a very small part of Earth's terrestrial area, but contributes to a lot of the stored organic carbon, soil carbon. This kind of thing you should be able to answer. This should not become these things should not become something about which you do not have a clue, and that's why I wanted to cover it. Okay, now IPCC reports. There are 3 IPCC reports that we would study. But before we get into those 3 IPCC reports, तो उसके बाद हमारे पास total कितने reports आए? 9. 6 we have done. 6 we remember. What are there? The 3 IPCC reports we want to cover. But before that, what is IPCC? IPCC है क्या? Intergovernmental. First thing, intergovernment मतलब बहुत countries के लोग होंगे. Panel on climate change. First thing is this. What is IPCC? It is Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. That is, it has representation membership from different governments, and they are a body on climate change. It's an international body for assessing the science related to climate change. What IPCC actually does is, see, there would be a lot of reports, research papers which would be published throughout the year related to climate change. IPCC will go through all those reports, will go through all those research papers, will go through all those scientific studies to provide you an assessment what is happening in the field of climate change. It is this assessment report which comes every 5-6 years, which is the most important report on climate change. The last assessment report had come in 2014, IPCC's fifth assessment report. Sixth assessment report is going to come in 2022. So 2022 से पहले सब select हो जाओ. Else you will have to study that huge IPCC's sixth assessment report. Now, so what does IPCC do? Its job is to assess already published scientific literature to update our knowledge of climate change. It was set up in 1988 by World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Environment Program to help policymakers with proper input. Because they will assess all these reports, they'll tell you what are the issues, what are the concerns, and all those things. Now, it will be providing its major big assessment report in 2022. इससे पहले it had provided that report in 2014. But in the process of going towards that report, it is providing many sub-reports, many smaller reports, while reaching towards that big assessment report. And it is those smaller reports that we want to talk about. One is the special report on global warming, 1.5 degrees Celsius report. This is also called 1.5 degrees Celsius report. Special report on global warming by IPCC. See, it came in 2018, but IPCC का report है, हमें पता होना चाहिए. The special report on global warming or 1.5 degrees Celsius report was published by IPCC. What is it saying? It's saying that at present world is 1.2 degree warmer. A lot of reports have said this. It's also saying that at current rate, the rate at which greenhouse gases are emitted right now, we will reach the 1.5 degree Celsius pre-industrial era का जो 1.5 degree Celsius higher between 2032 and 2050. So basically, what is the significance of this 1.5 degree Celsius? Let's understand this first. It is said, scientists have estimated that if the temperatures rise more than 1.5 degrees Celsius of the pre-industrial era, then the devastation damages would be irreversible. Till that time, you can reduce the CO2 in the atmosphere, cool the earth again. But once it reaches that level, sea level rise would happen, a lot of flooding would happen. You would not be able to reverse things. And beyond 2 degrees Celsius, definitely not. And therefore, the global community is aiming. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change also have set a target of preventing the rise to only, or restricting the rise to only 1.5 degree Celsius. So they are saying that at the current rate, we'll reach the temperature rise of 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2032, between 2032 and 50. And they also say that currently the NDCs. So what are NDCs? We'll study NDCs in more detail, but briefly I'll mention you what it is here. Let's do it briefly. In 2015, Paris Agreement has been signed by the global community. It is in also force right now. So under this Paris Agreement, member countries are supposed to reduce their CO2 emission. They're supposed to reduce the CO2 emission. But how much of CO2 emission would be reduced, or how much a country would contribute in the reduction? Because CO2 emission globally सबको करना पड़ेगा. How much a country would contribute in CO2 emission as per Paris Agreement? Paris Agreement does not give any individual targets to countries. It says that you come up with your nationally determined contributions in DCs. You come up with your nationally determined contribution. Every 5 years, you come up with a more advanced NDC, but this NDC would be used for your target. आप अपना टारगेट सेट करो, उसे अचीव करने की कोशिश करो. This is nationally determined contribution. Okay, so according to this report, 2018 जो report, it is saying that at the current level of NDCs, every country has given their NDC. This country will reduce their CO2 by this much. This country will reduce their CO2 intensity by this much, and so on. It says that at present, with the contribution from NDCs, these NDCs are insufficient in preventing the rise of temperature beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius. So that is countries' nationally determined contributions have to be higher, have to be more. These indices have to increase more. Fine? बात समझ में आ गई? So it's a 2018 report. That's why we are not getting into a lot of detail. Just 2-3 things. But what is important is special report on climate change or 1.5 degree Celsius report is by IPCC, which is part of this. It's working towards, it's moving towards that assessment. What assessment? The 2022 climate change assessment report, and उसके लिए ये सब publish कर रहे हैं. Then there is a special report on climate change and land which was published in August 2019. Special report on climate change and land. इससे पहले क्या था? Special report on climate change or 1.5 degree Celsius report. So eventually there would be assessment report on climate change in 2022. But before that, they're coming up with sectional reports. So what does special report on climate change and land say? What it is doing is, this report is studying how changes in land use is changing climate change, is contributing or reducing climate change, and how climate change is changing land use. Both the things. How changes in land use is impacting climate change. For example, when you are going for deforestation and converting that forest into agricultural land, you're changing land use. How is it contributing to global warming? By emission of CO2. Now trees are not there to absorb and keep that CO2 with them. So this report is doing one thing, this how land changes in land use is impacting climate change, and then it is also studying how climate change is impacting this. So क्या बोल रहा है ये report? This report says changes in land use is also upsetting natural climatic condition. It's not only industries, it's not only vehicles. The report says that world का जो food system है, that is contributing to 25% to 30% of greenhouse gas emission. Agricultural land use, storage, packaging, processing, retailing, and consumption, all this contributes to 25 to 30% of the global greenhouse gas emission. Then 25% of all our food we are wasting. So to produce that food, we are producing so much of CO2, but a lot of that CO2 we are wasting. A lot of that food we are wasting. Then global rise in land temperature. With अब देखो पहले हमने बात करी कि how land use is changing climate, is adding to climate change. Now we are talking about how climate change may be changing land use. So it's saying that rise in land temperature is general. So when climate change occurs, temperature would rise, but would temperature of oceans rise first or would temperature of land rise first? Temperature on land rise first, right? The global rise in land temperature has been much faster over land than over entire planet. Land के अलावा ocean है तो ocean में कम rise हो रहा है. Then they also say that global food supply may be a threat by climate change. How? Warming, changing precipitation pattern, extreme events, all this negatively impacts agriculture. Then a quarters of world ice-free land is subjected to what? Human-induced degradation. Ice-free land जहाँ पे humans रह रहे हैं, they are facing a lot of human-induced degradation. We are destroying forest, wetland, and grasslands. Soil erosion is 10 to 100 times higher than soil formation rate, and degradation exacerbates climate change as land's ability to act as sink is reduced. This is special report on land use and climate change and land use by IPCC. There's another special report on the ocean and cryosphere. What are cryosphere? Cryo means very cold. So of our earth, the very cold regions, North Pole, South Pole, Himalayas, a higher height पे जो Himalayas हैं, those are cryospheric region. So this is the special report on oceans and cryosphere. What is this report saying? Ocean is absorbing a significant amount of world's heat emission and is feeling the effect. वर्ल्ड में जो हीट एक्स्ट्रा आ रहा है, एमिशन हो रहा है, most of it is being absorbed by oceans. Ocean's temperature is not rising that much. Land का temperature easily बढ़ता है, but most of the heat, extra heat that is being produced, it is being absorbed by oceans. So far, ocean has absorbed about 20 to 30% of human carbon emission, and thus, because it's absorbing human carbon emission, it's absorbing CO2. When it is absorbing CO2, CO2 with water forms what is known as H2CO3 or carbonic acid. It forms carbonic acid, which leads to acidification of water, and thus pH level is declining. pH level of ocean is declining. Then it is also leading to increase of heating of the oceans. Ab heating of the ocean is going up. What will be its impact? Water would expand, sea level rise, marine heat waves, coral bleaching, biodiversity loss. We have already studied all these things. We understand all these things, how heating would bring this. Then let's come to cryosphere. The report says that Earth's frozen regions are losing ice and snow rapidly and warming faster than the rest of the world. Because frozen area temperature slightly भी बढ़ेगा, ऐसे सोचो कि if temperature increases from -1 degree Celsius to 1 degree Celsius, ice will melt. And if the ice would melt, more heating would take place, because their ice was somehow keeping the cooling effect. So generally they are saying that frozen regions are losing ice and snow rapidly and warming faster than the rest of the world. Then things are going to get worse in coming years. This is what IPCC says. It says that ocean will continue to warm and thus become more acidic, and thus sea level rise, marine heat waves, in सबका situation will worsen. Cryosphere are likely to decline by 18 to 36% by the end of this century. We can do certain things. Aggressive adaptation will help buy some time. For example, हमें fishery pattern वगैरह change करने पड़ेंगे, because in future biodiversity and all those things may get affected. And then there are limits on adaptation, and many negative impact will still occur even if we adapt. So even if we reduce emissions, a lot of negative impacts are going to happen, because emission reduction is not happening that easily and that quickly. Emission reduction will take its own time. So a lot of problems are going to occur for Earth in coming years. The 3 special reports by IPCC. Special report on climate change, land and climate change, and ocean and cryosphere. So far, we have looked at 9 different reports. First 2 reports by World Meteorological Organization. What reports? State of global climate and state of climate service. Next 3 reports by UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. Emission gap, adaptation gap, and World Environment Outlook. Global Environment Outlook. Global Economic Outlook कौन publish करता है? Who publishes Global Economic Outlook? IMF ना? नलायक हो, सब लोग नलायक हो, मतलब shame on you. अच्छा, वहां भी बच्चे वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम बोल रहे हैं. Am I wrong? एक मिनट, I'll check it again. I think नहीं, IMF नहीं करता होगा. चलो फिर भी मैं I'll recheck it. तो अभी नहीं चेक करना है. Coming back to what we are saying, we were revising the reports. So Global Environment Outlook, who's publishing it? UNEP. So 3 reports by UNEP. Then peatlands related report by FAO, 6 reports. Then 3 reports by IPCC. हाँ, कौन publish करता है? WEF करता है. Okay, guys, वो World Economic Outlook WEF publish करता है. तो IMF कौन सा करता है? There's one economic report which is published by WEF, IMF. नहीं, इकोनॉमी का कोई ऐसा रिपोर्ट पब्लिश करता है. Anyways, let's come back to this topic. Then there are 3 reports by IPCC. 6 reports we have done. There are 3 reports by IPCC. State of global, special report on climate change, special report on this thing, ocean and नहीं sorry, climate change and land use, and then special report on ocean and cryosphere. 9 reports by whom? By different bodies we have seen so far. World Economic Outlook, UNEP, oh sorry, IM, हाँ क्या क्या क्या, हाँ sorry, World Economic Outlook is published by IMF. So far we have looked at 9 reports, 2 by International Meteorological Organization, 1 by 3 by UNEP, 1 by FAO and 3 by IPCC. 9 reports. मुझे लग रहा है कि 9 रिपोर्ट्स याद हो जाएंगे आपको ना. एंड ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक आउटलुक इज पब्लिश्ड बाय WEF एंड वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक आउटलुक इज पब्लिश्ड बाय IMF. कितना कंफ्यूजिंग है, वर्ल्ड एंड ग्लोब. तो वर्ल्ड बाय IMF एंड ग्लोबल बाय WEF. ओके, यही क्वेश्चन आ जाए इस बार, है ना. चलिए, ग्लोबल एनर्जी रिव्यू 2021. 2021 में का ग्लोबल एनर्जी रिव्यू पब्लिश्ड बाय इंटरनेशनल एनर्जी एजेंसी IEA. अब look at the name of the report, energy review. It will be talking about globally कौन कौन से energy sources हैं, कितना energy use हो रहा है, how much of CO2 is being emitted. It will be talking about this, which region is using how much energy, developed countries are using it more or developing countries are using it more. Because it's 2021 report, so it will be talking about the situation of 2020. So it will also be talking about how much of energy less was used because of COVID-19 crisis, or was more energy used even after that. All these things would be done under the Global Energy Review 2021. So this report was published in April 2021, abhi 2-3 mahine pehle. Okay, this report says that because of COVID-19, some downfall occurred in 2020, but in 2021, with rollout of COVID-19 vaccines, economic recovery is going to start. Then, in terms of energy demand, they say that global energy demand will increase by 4.6% in 2021, surpassing the pre-COVID-19 level. Energy demand reduced in 2020. तो इसीलिए हम प्री कोविड-19 लेवल्स की बात करें. 2019 में जो एनर्जी डिमांड था, that will be surpassed in 2021. Second, they are saying when we look at different sources of fuels, then COVID-19 had impacted the most oil. Oil was impacted the most by COVID-19 because transportation had come to a halt, industries had come to a halt. Oil and all are used more there. But with recovery, सबसे ज्यादा improve भी oil का condition होने वाला है. Second, coal demand was also down by 4% in 2020 because electricity generation for industries had reduced. Electricity generation was not needed. Gas demand had also fallen by 2%. But इसमें fall इतना ज्यादा नहीं हुआ because of lower prices of gas. People, when there's more supply, people would go for the cheaper and cheaper version. And in spite of this fall, in 2021, the overall demand is expected to be more than the 2019 levels. Then we have renewable energy. It proved immune to COVID-19. Renewable energy grew even during COVID-19. And it was mostly because of various priority market access or concessions which are given to renewable energy sector. So throughout the world, renewable energy production increased even during COVID-19, and it mostly happened because of China. China has done a lot in renewable energy. COVID-19 का impact चाइना पे ज्यादा नहीं हुआ. चाइना ने शुरू में अपने एक शहर में प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करवाई और फिर पूरी दुनिया में करवा दी. And their economy, among the major economies, their economy was still positive. Number of deaths as per their report is very less. Cases there are very less. 70-80,000 cases are there. हम एक दिन में 3-4 लाख केस दे रहे थे और पूरे देश में 70-80,000 cases. Okay, so they have also done very well in renewable energy, and thus which has led to this aspect. नाउ एनर्जी डिमांड कैसे कैसे बदली थी, तो देखो here we are doing two things. One, 2019 से 2020 में 2019 से 2020 में एनर्जी डिमांड इज ऑन दिस स्केल. तो यू वुड सी दैट अबव 0% इज ओनली चाइना. When compared to 2019, 2020 had higher energy demand. अब मतलब more than 0% energy demand. Increase in only China was above this among major economies. All other economies lower. Even India -5%. तो 2019 में जितना एनर्जी डिमांड था उसका -5% was the energy demand in 2020. World, here we have world around -4%. Throughout the world, energy demand went down. China is only major economy where energy demand increased. In all other places, decreased. बात समझ में आई? Energy outlook would be telling you this. Then on this axis, we have 2019 से 2021. 2019 से 20 में जाने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. 2019 से 21 में क्या होगा? Here also you will see energy demand would be highest among major economies for China. When compared to 2019, 2021 में they'll have 8% more higher energy demand. India would also have positive energy demand. Southeast Asia, Africa, Middle East, world slightly more than 0%. But look at the developed countries, Japan, United States, not that much. Then some developing European Union, not that much. अभी भी negative में. When compared to 2019, also in 2021, Japan, USA, or European countries, European Union will have negative energy demand. रशिया का रिकवरी भी इतना नहीं हुआ, ब्राजील का रिकवरी भी इतना नहीं हुआ. समझ में आ रही है बात? Now, when it comes to CO2 emission, in 2020, CO2 emission declined by 5.8%. See, this decline doesn't generally happen. Generally, every year CO2 is rising. One such decline had happened in 2009. Look here. Because of the global financial crisis. Otherwise, it has kept on rising, decline, kept on rising, and then a big decline came. This is the biggest decline, 5 times greater decline than the 2009 situation. But then this rise is also going to be the second largest rise seen so far. 2019 से 21 में जो rise होगा of CO2 emission, that will also be huge. Okay, if you look at trend in CO2 emission by fuel, like there are coal, oil and gas. इन तीन fuels को देखोगे तो you would see CO2 emission by fuels, all three fuels, emission by all three fuels came down in 2020 because of COVID-19. Generally, you would see in some cases like 2009 when CO2 emission came down, oil reduced, gas reduced, but coal ka reduction, oil gas reduced, but coal's reduction was not that much. But this year, everything reduced. Okay, in 2015, you would see coal use had reduced. In 2016, coal use had reduced. One factor for it was oil was very cheaply available. Coal production was less, there were challenges, but oil was very less. If you'll go for CO2 emission by region, emerging markets are driving the energy demand back. We had just seen US, Japan, European Union, वहां पे energy demand अभी भी negative में है. So who is driving the energy demand? It is the emerging markets. Emerging markets and developing economies now contribute to 2/3 of the global CO2 emission. Advanced economies में 4% rebound will take place in 2021, but still their contribution in CO2 emission would be lesser. In India, economic recovery in 2021 is set to push almost 200 million tons higher than 2020. That CO2 emission is expected to go much higher. Okay, so IMF projects that global economy will grow by 6% in 2021 and it will compensate for the global economy's decline by 3.5% in 2020. So in 2021 global economy would be larger than 2019 क्योंकि जो decline 3.5% का हुआ है, even that would be compensated by 6% का rise. But IMF also says that India's situation was very bad. India में we imposed one of the strictest lockdown. At the same time, जो stimulus economy में मिलना चाहिए था after lockdown, it did not happen. IMF is saying this. India had one of the strictest lockdown measure and limited stimulus. And therefore, India saw one of the sharpest decline. Global decline was 3.5%. India's decline was -7%. Now, economic policies कितनी flawed होती है यहाँ से दिखता है. In 2009, when global energy demand has fallen, global economic growth has fallen. Go and look at India's economic growth. In 2009, 10, 11 से फिर because we would remove stimulus, but in 9, 10, government of India had given so much stimulus in the economy that our economy was growing at 8%, 9%, 10% when global economy was down. But here, when global economy is down, India is worse. India's situation is below global average. It should not have happened with right policies. We imposed very strict lockdown, but after that, good enough stimulus would have come. Government announced 20 lakh crore rupees ka package, but what was contribution of government there? Negligible. 2 lakh crore, something like that. So this report is also saying it. But हमारे लिए भी हम economy नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, climate change पढ़ रहे हैं. Energy outlook we have done. Now, climate change performance index. Climate change performance index, CCPI. What is CCPI? It's an independent monitoring tool of countries' climate protection performance. It aims to enhance transparency in international climate politics. Now, इस part को समझो. How good a country is working towards fighting climate change. अब देखो, international politics में developed countries are saying developing countries should contribute more. Developing countries are saying you should contribute more. But what if tomorrow a country starts saying we are contributing a lot, but it is not actually contributing? A country says that we have reduced our emission a lot, but it is not actually reducing. So climate change performance index is an independent, transparent mechanism to understand how much a country is performing towards fighting climate change, and thus it enhances transparency in international climate politics. क्यों? समझ गए ना? अब कोई कंट्री बोल रहा होगा कि we have reduced this much of it, climate change performance index will give you that data and enables the comparability of climate protection efforts and progress. So CCPI assesses each country's performance in 4 categories. 1, कितना greenhouse gas emission हुआ. 2, renewable energy कितना है. Energy use, climate policies. So 57 countries in EU, which are together responsible for 90% of the emissions, are assessed under this ranking. And in this ranking, even in 2020, our rank has been in top 10. For the second time in a row, India has ranked in top 10. Among the worst performing country, you will see USA with a rank of 61 is among the worst performer. Why? Because GHG emission is very high for USA. Renewable energy की towards इतना ज़्यादा effort नहीं है. Energy use is high. Climate policy में it had moved away from Paris Agreement. So climate policies were also bad. Global Climate Risk Index. आज रुकें क्या? यहाँ रुकते हैं. कल tomorrow we'll take classes from 8:30. At 8 AM in the morning office opens up and then थोड़ा delay हो जाता है. So we'll officially keep classes from 8:30 to 10:30 tomorrow. Okay. बाकी कल पढ़ते हैं.